Thanks again to Resi Walt once again for joining us on behalf of the UFA to give us an insight into farmers and mental wellness programs going forward. Well, we're off to Frankford Road, 1442 Frankford Road, and joining us, one of the co-owners of Willow Creek Farms, is Susan Vanden Bosch. Susan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You've got quite the operation. It's over a 30-year business now. Could you bring us a glimpse into what you grow on your property?
Oh, wonderful. Yes, we're in asparagus right now. Of course, the first wonderful vegetable of the year. It's coming near to an end, about a week yet of harvesting that. And we have fresh greens, radishes, rhubarb. Peas are in flower, so they'll be along shortly with this nice warm weather. But of course, something everyone's waiting for are the fresh strawberries. So we've got a few ripe ones on now, but we'll save those for ourselves. So there aren't enough quite to put out on the stand yet, but strawberries are a big one to come. And then of course into more of the main season vegetables after that with beets, cucumbers, tomatoes in a bit, and of course lots of sweet corn with our sweet corn's a huge hit, so that's usually about the end of July.
Yeah, the sweet corn is fantastic. But Susan, really, what's some of the challenges you've been facing this year? Not only with the pandemic, but how is the weather holding up for you growing everything right now?
It was a really hard start because it was so cold, and we did lose some of our asparagus earlier in May to the heavy frost we had that week of May 12th and 13th there. But since then, it's been absolutely wonderful with some warm weather and some nice timely rains. So the vegetables are growing really well. It's a little bit still delayed for the timing of things, but we're really pleased with how things are shaping up here this year.
Good to hear, because we've got your farm stand, 1442 Frankford Road. You've got the setup at the Foxborough Butcher Shop, and then of course Tucker's Corners, but in a different location. Could you walk us through the change in the Tucker's Corners setup this year?
Oh, I'd love to. We're so pleased to be we're at the township building instead of in the farmer's field, which it did really well for us for 15 years, but that road was getting really busy, and we were getting busier as well. So it was more of a concern for safety and for the, especially it's Jane who really is known at that stand, and she's our neighbor and has taken care of that stand, taken ownership of it for a few years. So it was for everybody's safety, and the response has been wonderful. And the township and the council, when we proposed the idea to them, they were right on board, and they support agriculture, of course, so they were really happy to work with us to make that happen this year.
What's the staffing situation like now with COVID-19 and the pandemic? Do you rely on migrant workers to help you collect everything?
Yes, we do. We have two of our main workers that have been with us, for one for 6 years and the other, Raphael, for 8 years, and they've come back every year. We do request a third worker, but we weren't unable to get a third worker. But we were so pleased. They were 3 weeks late, and then of course they had to have the 2-week isolation time, but it was worth. They worked so hard for us, and I honestly don't think I couldn't imagine without them. So yeah, but we do have some local help as well, but not so much in the fields, more for preparing the vegetables and working at the stands.
All right, so how many acres do you have at Willow Creek down in Frankford?
For dedicated to vegetables, and that would include our wheat, because we grow the straw to cover the strawberries as well. We have about 50 hectares of mixed vegetables and the wheat as well.
Okay, and can we go to your farm to pick strawberries further down the line? Is that an option at Willow Creek?
Yes, that's what we're looking forward to. We're getting a lot of inquiries, of course, of how we're going to manage it, and the berries look fantastic, so there should be plenty on, and we'll make sure everybody is safe, and we'll have because we do have 3 different fields of them, so there'll be lots of room, but we definitely want to be able to make a worthwhile visit and have everybody healthy and safe for that part of it, for sure.
And how can people know when to go online and to inquire about your farm, about picking? Are you going to announce it on Facebook?
Definitely. That's such a great avenue for Facebook. We do have a website as well, and I do Instagram, and I do a daily updated message on our landline phone, and to announce when it's open as well. Word of mouth is huge. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially down in Frankfurt in this area, word of mouth is fantastic. Susan, a quick question though I have for you. When you've been connecting with your customers, whether online on Instagram or in person, what have you been hearing from them about not only how they're feeling, but also how you're feeling as a farmer right now?
I'm really, I guess, humbled by how many people are thanking us for what we do and appreciating the local aspect. We've been, as you mentioned before, for 30 years now, and it was a start with our 3 young boys. I decided to try this as a way to be home with the family, but the whole dynamic of what we do has changed, and especially noticing it in the last few years, where we do, of course, have a huge, influx of town people from Toronto, Oshawa, and so on. So that has changed what we do as well, and people really appreciate what we do, and that they love the local, and that we can knowledgeably tell people, how we grow things. And actually, a gentleman at the stand the other day said, so this is your asparagus? And I said, yes, it is. He goes, do you know what a hoe is? And I said, what are you asking me? And he says, do you know what a hoe is? And I said, oh, look at my hands. He goes, oh, my dear, I'm sorry. My hands are real farmer hands. No.
Interesting time though, I think, is as this pandemic is really educating those who are in the city perhaps a bit more about the hard work that it takes to sustain a farm and to keep everything going. Well, once again, buy local. Furthermore, echoing this right now, Susan Vanden Bosch from Willow Creek down in Frankfurt. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for all the work that you do year round, and we really appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having us, and I guess everyone be safe, and hope to see you out and about, and safely, of course, and take care.